Welcome back to Sports Gambling Podcast Network's NFL draft coverage. Today we're talking about the consensus top receivers in this NFL draft class. We start out with Tetairoa McMillan. McMillan has been interesting. He's fallen a little bit during the draft process, and part of that is he's treated himself like the consensus number one, and he's not done all the things. And so he didn't run the 40 at the combine, didn't really participate in anything. Then he went to his pro day, and apparently, he ran really well, but there's no video evidence. This isn't Will Chamberlain in the 1970s. I don't understand why there's no digital evidence of this. Just the videos coming out of him saying he doesn't love football. There's just things that are going on, and Daniel Jeremiah has actually got him down as his third receiver right now, and you see him slipping on a few boards. What's good about McMillan and why he's most likely the one on most people's boards is the size and speed combination. He profiles to be an outside receiver. But the difference in the NFL right now is that, in the past, the X receiver, the outside receiver was always the primary, the number one. And in the NFL these days, you look at Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and all these guys, they're just moving around the formation so much where they're playing outside, but CeeDee Lamb is moving into the slot, moving all around the formation, going in motion, doing those kind of things. And you do that to get your guy in space, get him open, and to avoid a lot of these double teams, double coverage. Because when you just line a guy up on the left side of the field, the team knows where he's going to be. The team knows what's going on. They can just double team him and scheme against him a lot easier. And so teams are avoiding that. But Tetairoa McMillan, he is the number one on the consensus mock draft board. Some people have him going as high as the Jacksonville Jaguars or even the New England Patriots at 4. But I even saw Mel Kiper has him going, going 21, not 21, 22 in his mock draft. So this could be a wide range of outcomes. And again, Daniel Jeremiah got him at the wide receiver 3, and he's got him at 19 overall. They got him going to Dallas Cowboys here. Would be an interesting fit with CeeDee Lamb. There's some Michael Thomas comparisons here where he could be a big slot or he can move outside. What people like about him is the red zone target, the creativity and the body control, the ball tracking, and just the overall size, a Michael Pittman type of player who can just get up and go and get those, the one-on-ones in the red zone. Matthew Golden, he's very interesting. He's really burst onto the scene since a huge combine. And he's currently, a guy that's favored to be the number 1 or the number 2 receiver off of the board. I still think McMillan goes off the board, but we know the NFL loves speed. We know what speed can do to an offense, even if you aren't the target, aren't getting the ball. But the production in college, Golden really didn't do as much. He doesn't have the production profile. He doesn't have the size. And he really profiles more as a number 2 or 3 receiver. And so it'd be very hard to see him go as a top 15 pick, top 20 pick. McMillan seems more of the fit. And then Emeka Egbuka, a lot of people thought he was a second-round, third-round pick last year. Moves into the first round this year. Just a ready-made, high-floor player. They got the Packers taking him in the first round here. We know the Packers are allergic to receivers in the first round. So unless he's going to the second round, Packers are not going to take him. You can see him go, CJ Stroud team back up with Stroud in Houston. You got a lot of fits there, replace Cooper Kupp. Actually get Devontae Adams with the Rams. So there's a lot of different options there in the 20s that I think would be really good for Egbuka. He's a ready-made slot. He can play outside a little bit, but that does kind of pigeonhole him a little bit. He is more of a slot receiver. And that could be scheme dependent for some of these teams. And then Luther Burden, I see a lot of Deebo Samuel comparisons. I think it's Rashee Rice. But you look at somebody that really is a run after the catch specialist. And in today's, umbrella coverage, too high shell, I think he's going to be a really high pick. So right now they have 2.5 receivers going in the first round. I think it's a receiver. It's a pass-heavy league. I just don't see us getting less than 3. So give me the over on 2.5 receivers, whether it's going to be Burden, Egbuka, and McMillan, or Golden, McMillan, Egbuka. It's going to be a combination of those guys that get in there. And I think you'll see that number change here in a little bit. The 5th guy is Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. He's been a Twitter loves him. He had a great Senior Bowl, had some great clips of the Senior Bowl, and he's just RAS score is really good. He's really won the offseason. The production's not great. Reception perception says he's not that good. But from an athletic profile, this guy has a lot of things to be excited about. And again, he's a big, tall guy that can win outside. And there's not a lot of those guys in the NFL the last couple draft classes. And in this class, you actually got a few of them. Higgins, Trey Harris, Alik Amenor. And then we didn't even talk about Travis Hunter. And Travis Hunter is, if he plays receiver, will be the number one receiver taken. But in this, activity, he's not listed as a receiver. So don't forget about Travis Hunter. He's going to be the top guy taken if you were to count him as a receiver. But a lot of sports books are not counting him just because of the position, the unknown. Jalen Noel, he's a guy. He's got some smaller hands and some fumbling, and so that's a little bit of a concern. Is he going to be a Sky Moore, a Rondell Moore kind of a player? But Jalen Noel is another guy that is just athletic freak. Does a whole lot of damage after the catch, and another run and catch specialist, very similar to like a Luther Burden, a ton of yak. So the number one obviously is Travis Hunter, but Tet McMillan, Matthew Golden, Mecca Ibuka, Luther Burden, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, outside receiver, big tall guy, I think he's 6'3", about 200 pounds, coming out of Ole Miss, runs really fast, physical. Then Jalen Noel, Alik Amenor. Amenor is, Stanford receivers have not necessarily taken off in the NFL, but he's another guy. He's just big, physical. If you watch his game against Travis Hunter, if that's the only thing you watch, you think this guy is going to go number one overall, because he had, almost 300 yards, 3 TDs against Colorado. Made Travis Hunter he made him look like he was terrible at football. He just bullied him the whole game. It's not always like that. There's some inconsistencies in his game, some limitations to the route, but some people like him better than Higgins and Harris, and you can see he's going at the bottom of the second. Jack Besh is the last guy on the board. Besh is, he's an LSU guy that went to TCU, took over at TCU, and then had a great Senior Bowl. Shout out to him. Isaiah Bond, 73. And then Jalen Royals. Those are that's your end of your round 2, start of your round 3 guys. So to recap, your top 10 guys is Travis Hunter, Tet McMillan, Matthew Golden, Emeka Ibuka. Then you have Luther Burden. After Luther Burden, you got Jaden Higgins. After Jaden Higgins, you're going to have Jalen Noel, or Trey Harris, then Jalen Noel, then Alik Amenor, Jack Besh, Isaiah Bond, then Jalen Royals, Savion Williams. Someone that's screaming up the boards is Kyle Williams. Right now, they have him projected to be a 3rd round pick, but do not be surprised if Kyle Williams goes in 2nd round. He's someone that people are really, really buzzing about in the mock drafts and the draft circles. So this has been the wide receiver consensus episode. Next will be your cornerbacks.